So I have the pleasure of speaking today with an agent who's been working for what, two and a half years now, Anthony?
About 2.
2 years, yeah.
On the button, actually.
And Anthony did an interview with us last year at our Elite Agent Summit. He about had a fourth of his voice. I don't know what happened to you.
Yeah.
Lots of yelling. Lots of closing deals over the phone. What happened? And it was great. People loved the interview. They loved what Anthony had to say, so I absolutely had to bring it back. So I'm super excited to have him here. So Anthony Bo, why don't you kind of do a little bit of a detailed overview of who you are, what you do, just to kind of, anybody who hasn't seen the videos or wasn't here last year, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right, short version. So I've got a license. I think most of us probably here already have one. If not, you're probably getting it soon. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk for what I'm about to say, but that's not what earns me the living that I earn. It's my sales talent, skills, and ability. I don't put that license up on a pedestal. That's in my back pocket. You know, it's needed for what we do, of course, but passing that test was probably the easiest thing about doing what I do. Again, I know it's needed, but having the ability to fine-tune your sales skills, that's what it's all about. You know, you've got to know your audience. You got to know your audience, know the people you're talking to, and there's a lot that goes into that, which I'm going to get into in a moment. But my background is, I think from when I was a kid, you know, just from getting the sneakers I wanted from my mom and dad, you know, to you know, getting you know, a $12 sandwich from a Italian restaurant, whatever. I would always figure out a way to persuade my parents into giving me what I wanted. And over the years, you know, that just kind of got me to the sales industry, whatever that would be, and then ultimately I got into insurance. But I was a commodity broker for a couple of years. Moved down to Florida from New Jersey, and I started working for a shop for maybe 6-8 months. Kind of figured out what they were doing on the back end and where the real money was made. Broke away with 2 other guys and started our own operation. Over the course of, I guess, 7 years, give or take, we had a 45, 50 guy and girl operation. You know, always coming and going, full-time teacher. A lot of hustle, a lot of stress, but a lot of money. It was a great time in my life. I learned a whole lot more about sales tactics, not just having my natural ability to sell my parents into getting me nice sneakers, but, you know, isolating, re-overcome, box closing, trial closing, all kinds of things, again, that I'll get into here in a couple of minutes. But I sold that business in 2009. Good chunk of change. I had 2 business partners. My wife had this crazy idea to come up with a product, and I was doing well financially, so I figured, let's give it a shot. So we developed a product out of nowhere, didn't exist in the marketplace, and lo and behold, we got that product on the shelves of Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, Walgreens, Bed Bath & Beyond, Spencer's in the mall, lots of other retail stores. I was a sales rep for everybody except Walgreens. Never knew what it took to get on the shelves of any retailer, never developed a product before. Not anything I ever even thought I would do, but I always kind of have the attitude, if there's a way humanly, physically possible, I'll find it or I'll make it one way or the other. And that's kind of the attitude I've always had in life. So that business has been on autopilot for quite some time. Sometimes it takes me, you know, I don't know, 30 minutes a week, and sometimes it's 30 hours a week, but that's few and far between. Had a buddy of mine in the insurance industry working for an operation, and we just kind of stayed in contact. He was a personal trainer. COVID came, his business was in the toilet. We started talking. He told me he got into insurance, life insurance, and he was doing well. So many other people were doing well. I was always intrigued by that industry. I went out, got licensed, started with this operation here in Florida. Smoke and mirrors, and you know, they lied to me about commission. I won't go into all those details. A lot of you guys probably have similar horror stories. That was face to face. I was buying leads at that point. This was summer of 20. Yeah, so this is early COVID. So showing up face to face, buying these leads at that point, I think were like 17 bucks a pop. And I left there, wanted to leave there, and I wanted to do this over the phone. My experience over the years, especially in the commodity days, was over the phone. And I figured there's got to be a way to do it. I just didn't know how. I didn't know what, you know, what carriers, how to go about it. Came across Dave Duford. We spoke. Honest Abe over here, you know, he sealed the deal on me. That's all I needed was just somebody to be honest with me and give me the details and steer me straight. I know you're going to make commission on me, that's fine, you're entitled to, but don't lie about it. So we got started, and that was in Matt, January of 21. Yes, January.
December, January, yeah, 20.
Yeah, okay.
2021.
So I also said to myself, I'm buying these leads from these lead vendors. They're dog, you know what. They don't know who's calling. What is this about? Apparently they're exclusive. You've got their hobby, their date of birth, their address, but man, it was brutal. I mean, for some of you guys, a lot of you guys probably know this already, but they're getting these leads and they're getting them from Facebook. They're generating them somehow, and I don't know how they're doing it, but again, I'll either find a way or I'll make one. And I came across a gentleman, Bobby V. Can I drop his name here? I sure did. So, Bobby V. offered, at that point, did not offer a course. It was, he would do it for me. I found him, I don't remember what platform we were using. Was it
GroupMe?
GroupMe.
Oh, yeah.
So he would post his production. I'm like, man, this guy's doing all kinds of business. How's he doing it? So I reached out. He told me he's generating his own leads. And I don't know what I paid at that point. I think $1,500, $2,000. And he did it all for me. There was nothing done, nothing for me to do. But he built 2 apps, one in Jacksonville, one in Miami. I live in Florida. Not the markets I wanted to deal with. All right, well, how do I build another ad? Go to Ads Manager. Well, what the hell's that? We'll go to the business profile. I don't know what you're talking about. So I was throwing in after the fact, and that was very challenging, a big learning curve, a lot of time, energy, and effort that came out of me to kind of figure this out. Matt over here and we did it together. I bring that up because Shauna, I think, did an excellent job. I have a very similar setup to what you discussed, but it's my own and it's been tweaked and so on over the years. For what's she charging? $997 for what it's worth? I would be all over that. If anybody's interested in Facebook leads, I think it's a phenomenal deal. You can do it yourself, but it's going to take a lot of time. And somebody asked earlier about Zapier and all that. I don't remember who it was. Somebody over here? Yeah. So depending on the CRM, like I used to use Radius Bob. That required Zapier. And then it required Calendly. It required all kinds of stuff. Everything has to fit together, work together. It can be very, very confusing, and it's pretty costly. But it did work. I then switched over to Lead to Client, which is what I use now, but a very, very similar setup to what Shauna went over earlier. So I generate my own leads on Facebook. They come from Facebook. They go to an appointment page with my picture, my calendar, schedule the appointments, answer a couple of questions. As soon as they come into my CRM, they get a text message, they get an email. I used to send even a video of myself, kind of discussing what they can expect on the call. And the logic behind that was, marketing 101 is they need to see, hear, or feel something at least 3 times before they associate that with being recognizable. So they see my face in an email, they see a video of me in a text message, they see my face, a picture of my family on the calendar page, they see my picture, I think it's me and my family, even before they even click submit. So now I'm familiar. So now it's when I call, there's no who is this, what is this about? They know exactly who I am. It doesn't mean they're going to answer the phone, but at least they know who they're getting a call from. So it's I guess you could say it's a warm call. Now, the leads have always converted. I'd say 20 to 30% will convert and schedule an appointment with me one-on-one. When they schedule an appointment, I get all kinds of additional information from them. So again, I kind of have a real good idea of who I'm going to be talking to and what their needs are before we ever even speak on the phone. Some people think I'm crazy for what I'm about to say. I'm willing to spend the money for the quality leads. In my opinion, if they are not going to schedule an appointment from right becoming a lead to the text message, to the email, to the next text message, to the next email, or any of that, I mean, I hit them up left and right. They're getting text messages and emails. If they're not engaging, they're not responding, they're not scheduling an appointment, they're not interested. That's my thought, or at least they're not serious. They're click happy. They're clicking on things, looking for free stuff. I don't want to talk to that person. So as long as I'm getting leads at a decent price, I'm okay with spending the money just to have that quality. And when I see a decent price, final expense, and I'm going to get off this topic here in a minute, final expense, I would say I always average between $4 to maybe $7 a lead, depending where I'm running ads. And I didn't do any business in Florida with final expense. I did multiple states around the country, and some states are without a doubt better than others. As an example, I'd rather have a $10 lead out of Wisconsin than 10 $1 leads out of Florida for final expense. I'm not going to go into why, but So I did final expense for about 18 months, and Dave always talked about Medicare. I was at this event last year, found that very, very intriguing. You know, that passive income, renewables, and all that. Final expense, great commission up front, but you know, it's ongoing and ongoing. You want to work, you're not making any money. So I kind of purposely strategized making this transition over to Medicare. You know, final expense, you get your 75% advance, 25% you get it later down the road. So even starting out in the Medicare thing, I still had $5,000 to $7,000 a month coming in for business that I wrote, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12 months earlier. So that's kind of how I set all that up. I got into the Medicare thing. This was my first annual enrollment. And again, I stuck with running my own ads on Facebook. And if I can do this, I'll quick cost. So John Dean, you're interested in Facebook leads? You might be a little more interested after I tell you this. Between October 1st and December 7th, and Dave is my witness, I just showed him on my iPad, I spent a total of $2,761.08 on leads. I generated 1,711 leads. My average price was $1.61 per lead. $1.61. 20% of those approximately converted to appointments. Roughly 40 to 50% were no-shows. So leaves you about 171, and I wrote 121. So I didn't do any kind of numbers like John did there. It was my first annual enrollment. Unfortunately, I had a couple of life things that came up. My best friend passed away, went on a cruise, and my internet was out for I think 5 days. So a couple of issues. You got 7.5 weeks, I probably lost 10 days. Go ahead, you want to start doing some Q&A?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do in this segment is if you have questions, please raise your hand. So this is a more interactive type of segment here. So Mr. Munguia back here has got the mic. You just raise your hand, we'll have a question. Oscar, let's start with you. What is your question?
What's the creatives, like how do you target in Medicare just with CMS and it being compliant? What are you using to stay compliant and still generate the leads at the cost you're doing?
The same language that is on the mailers that get sent out is exactly what I use for the ad content on Facebook.
Nice.
Yeah. I play around with the ad images and all too, but
any video? Are you doing any video? Or
no, but I'd like to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
So how is it, you started off with final expense telesales, now you've moved to Medicare telesales. What is it like, how does it compare selling Medicare over the phone as far as difficulty, objections, et cetera, versus final expense?
I don't really find very many objections at all. I mean, like you always told me, I mean, Dave said to me at some point, I don't know, 6 months ago, he said, look, you're selling a product, final expense, to people that don't really have the extra income, and you're doing it very successfully. Imagine now selling a product to somebody where it costs them nothing. Imagine how much easier that would be. And I just couldn't even get my head around that. What do you mean cost of nothing? I'll be perfectly honest. I'm 46 years old. I didn't really know anything about what Medicare was up until 8 months ago, let's just say. Didn't really know much about red, white, and blue card. Never heard of it. It just wasn't my thing. You know, TV commercials with JJ and Joe Namath. Yeah, of course I'd seen those, but it was a foreign language to me and never paid it any mind really. But one thing I will say, and then we'll get back to Q&A. I wanted to do this earlier, but I'm shooting from the hip here, guys. There's no script or slideshow for me, but one thing I wanted to talk about was telesales specifically. Whether it's Medicare, whether it's final expense, whatever it is you're selling. You're selling something over the phone. There's a lot that goes into that, and I think sometimes that's really overlooked, and I think some people don't look at the whole picture. So I would imagine, you would know better than I, that telesales is probably becoming more and more popular, especially since COVID. Whether it's agents just getting into the industry, do you find that more looking to go the telesales route? Okay. And there's probably people that have been, face-to-face looking to transition. It's my world, so of course I think it's a great idea. But I will say you need to expect a world of differences. And what I mean by that is, everybody's heard the expression, first impressions are everything, right? No matter what, everybody's heard that in their entire life. So let's talk about John mentioned. He shows up to a house, he likes to park in the street, so he can walk up, so they can see him walking up, he waves to the house. What do you wear when you go face to face?
Usually either a button down to khakis or jeans and boots and a button down.
Okay. Got a haircut, beard's trimmed,
Yeah.
Probably freshen up your breath a little bit, whatever it is you're gonna do. And then when
Flick the cigarette.
and you're probably, most people, I mean, whether you're showing up to somebody's house for a face-to-face appointment, or somebody's coming into your business, you're going to their business, whatever it is you're doing, everybody's always sizing one another up, no matter what, right? Whether you're going to get a haircut, but if I'm at a home and somebody's coming to my house, I can see, is this guy or girl a slob? Do they have their hair cut? They got stinky breath? Are they going to look me in the eye? Are they smiling? Are they shaking my hand? They have a good handshake? Did they just roll out of like a 1972 Pinto? You have the visual, right? But now you're on the phone. That's all out the window. That's gone. So how do you do that? How do you convey that? How do you knowing that they're sitting there, imagining, picturing in their own head what you look like? Do you have a haircut? Are you well groomed? How do you do that? That's easier said than done. And I think that comes across by your demeanor. It comes across by your friendliness. It comes across by being a real and sincere person. You can't be too kiss-assy, if there is such a word. You don't want to be, like Mary Smith, who's calling from AT&T to sell them a long-distance plan because they see they've got their cell phone service and DirecTV through them as well. You can't be customer service. You can't be too nice, but you can't be a jerk. So there's a lot of little things that go into it. Breaking the ice, I think, is huge. Getting a laugh quickly early on is big, and I do that a lot. I make fun of myself when I'm on the phone with people quickly, and I think it makes you a real person, because anyone here, anyone in the world, your phone rings from a number that you don't recognize. What are your immediate thoughts? Somebody rattles something out. What are you thinking?
Problem.
I'm not answering.
Right? So right away, you're in a negative state of mind. You're ready to punch this person in the face. Who is this? What do they want? I just want to get them off the phone. If you're even going to answer. But let's say you answer. So right away, your guards are up. You're ready to go to battle. This is what you're up against now. You're over the phone. So this is who you're talking to, and you have to know that. So their guards are up. They're ready to fight. How do you bring their guards down? How do you ease them? How do you get them to open up? Even if they clicked on the ad, scheduled the appointment, answered 10 questions, it doesn't matter. Even if they remembered you, they're still on the defense, their guards are up, and you need to bring them down. And how you say things and what you say play a big part. And how much time we got?
20 minutes.
I'm going to do like an intro real quick.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Go for it.
Matt, you want to be my girl?
Sure.
Matt, you want to come down here?
No, I'm good.
I'll even read it here. All right, so now one thing about me, I'm only calling the appointments. I'm only calling the people that schedule appointments. So my intro, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Matt, so number one, Telesales. Can I stay in front of this thing here? I always stand up. This is rule number one. If you're on the phone, as I'm standing up, I don't even know if you noticed, my voice probably got a little bit louder. I'm walking, I'm breathing, my lungs are expanding, I've got oxygen going, I've got better blood flow. It's going to help me control the conversation. Chances are the person I'm talking to is sitting down, so I'm automatically above them, if that makes any sense. So ring, 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 hello. Hey, Matthew, how are you? This is Anthony Boba. I'm calling for the 4 o'clock telephone consultation you scheduled today. How's everything with you?
Oh, good. This is Anthony.
Anthony Boba, you forgot about me already, didn't you? This is 2 days ago, Matt. Come on.
I'm sorry, yeah, but no, I'm still good. I'm
All
good,
right.
yeah.
Good to hear, All right. So, and by the way, I would literally say something just like that, and I see a lot of smiles right away. You got to call them out. It makes me a real person, right? People pick up on that. They need to feel your energy. Remember, they can't shake my hand. They can't look me in the eye. They don't know any of these things. So you got to be a real person. Is Mary Smith trying to sell an AT&T plan talking like that? Probably not. She's desperate. She's got commission breath, and she's trying to hang on for any single person that will talk to her. Don't be that person. All right, Matt. So listen, you scheduled a 4 o'clock appointment with me. I'm going to go over a couple things. First and foremost, I'm required to say I'm a licensed agent. I'm on a recorded line. Blah blah blah. All that good stuff. I literally say blah blah blah. All that good stuff because people are probably thinking, yeah, well, whatever. Get on with it, right? So that's why I'm saying it. All right, so in a moment, I'm going to confirm your email address. I'm going to be sending you a copy of my state insurance license. I'm also going to explain exactly who I am, of course, for starters, just to give you a general idea of what you can expect here on the call. What benefits are available to you. Hopefully get you that $164.90 back in your Part B for your Social Security check. Maybe a monthly food card, grocery card, flex card. You know, all that free stuff you hear about on TV commercials with JJ from Good Times and Joe Namath. You know what I'm talking about, right, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. All right, also, before I forget here, the new requirement where I have to say, we do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-Medicare to get information on all of your options. Sorry, Matt, I got to read a new requirement for 2023. And that is the disclosure for those of you that don't know, but you kind of got to, you know, have a little fun with it, I guess. You know, you don't, everybody always asks, oh, how do you get around that disclaimer? Just say it, just get it over with and have a little laugh about it. That's what I always do, and people kind of, yeah, everybody's all right with it, really. All right, so moving on. I see you answered a couple of questions here, Matt. Let me back up. So I have your email address, matt@assurancelifegroup.com, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, give me 10 seconds here. I promise you I have a brain, but I cannot talk and type for the life of me. I have no idea what's wrong. And then they always either laugh or they always say, oh, I can't do it either. Don't worry about it. Always. So again, I'm getting a couple laughs. All right, I just sent you an email. Look at it now, look at it never. That's entirely up to you. It does have all of my contact details, copy of my state license, and it even has a beautiful picture of my wife and 2 kids and my ugly mug. So with the good, you're going to get the bad. I literally say that. They always laugh, say a little something, okay? And then I move on, and then I get into Sunfire. And then we start talking about the plans, and I'm not going to get into all that. So what did I cover there on that first page, if you will? What did I do? Anybody kind of throw out some answers here? How about, go ahead.
You made the wall come down and build rapport at the same time.
Yeah. And they're painting a picture, right? Who am I? What do you think? Do I sound like I'm selling a long distance plan, or do I sound like a regular guy? I know I talk really fast, but.
Well, you sound like you're gonna really help.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And with the humor, the sarcasm that you're using, you're actually making yourself seem genuine, like you're not somebody who's gonna lie to them.
Yeah, good, okay, cool.
And you also sound confident.
Sure, confident. Confidence is king, always. Confidence, I can't say enough about that. Whether you're,
Even with the self-deprecation, that's a sign of
yeah,
confidence.
sure. You know, confidence, whether you're a guy trying to pick up a girl trying to pick up a guy, you know, whatever. You can't be some shy, timid, you know, that's not going to get you very far. Somebody have a question over there, I think it's
Voice fluctuation.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, voice fluctuation, a big part. Did anybody notice that when I said, hopefully get you that 164.90 back in your check, I slowed down. I purposely slowed down when I said that because I really want to make sure that that part kind of drives home.
Anthony, you sound like you're in control, which people will not admit to, but they want to be direct.
Definitely. You know, but they want to be directed from, you know, somebody that's cool, you know, somebody that's somewhat intelligent, or at least sounds like it, and probably speaks good English. So in the Medicare side of things, well, let me back up. What do you think the #1 objection is to selling over the phone? Whatever it is you're selling. #1 objection.
I want to think about it.
Okay?
Trust.
I agree. Trust, credibility, it's everything. So let's just talk about what I kind of read when I went over on my first page there. What did I talk about? I'm going to send a copy of my license, right? I think that goes a long way. I sent in my email, you're going to see a picture of my wife and kids. It's got my cell phone number. It's got my direct line. It's got my address. I'm always, I want to get that out of the way. I want to bring their guards down because remember, they're thinking, who is this? What does this guy want? Girl want? What is this number? I want to punch him in the face. All I want to do is hang up. You got seconds to keep this person on the phone. So you knowing that, you better be, you know, cool, calm, and collected. You better have a little bit of fun. And who wants to sit there and talk to, hello, Matthew, this is Anthony Boba. I'm calling for the 4 o'clock telephone consultation you scheduled with me today. How are you?
Click.
Tell you, yeah, of course. Something else I never do. Believe it or not, and I'm a very polite person. I always say please and I always say thank you when it's warranted. But I never ever say please to anybody over the phone because when somebody says please, what does that mean? That's right. I'm the one in control. You thank me. You ask me to be, you know, so I don't mean to sound cocky or too arrogant by that, but really, when it comes to sales over the phone, somebody's in control at all times. Somebody's selling something at all times. Are you selling them the policy, or are they selling you why they can't get the policy? One or the other. So a lot of little things you need to do along the way of this crazy, windy path, but I would recommend anybody's going the telesales route, or just even sales in general. I mentioned a moment ago, isolate, agree, overcome. Does anybody know what that is? If those who don't, write it down and look up a YouTube video on that. What about box closing? Anybody know what it is? Trial closing. Yeah? These are all very, very important things. I'm not going to go in and teach that right now, but box closing is picture a box, right? There's 4 corners. You need to get 4 yeses.
Prior to the phone call, have you or your employment center,
Just me.
they know you're calling them at 4 o'clock for the appointment. Are you having them ready with information, like your prescription, their doctors, so this way they're not scattered and wasting your time, their time, everything's all over the place? Like,
No, they gathered that on the call.
they'll have it on that call you're making then, or prior to that, your appointment call?
On the call.
On the call.
On the call, yeah. So they probably don't. Most people tell me, oh, nobody ever asked me about my medication before. Very common.
And so they'll step away from the phone, they're gonna look for it.
I say, you got a list, so you just want to grab the bottles, whatever you got, I'll hold on. I say, oh, okay, great. And then I even say, you know what? Who's your pharmacy? CVS. Are you opposed to mail order if it was a lot cheaper? People love to save money, of course.
Sure.
I don't remember gentleman's name over here in the corner. We were talking a few minutes ago about Medicaid. So in Florida, man, I don't know how it works in other parts of the country, but it couldn't be any easier. I immediately asked somebody, well, within the first 5 minutes of the call, I said, do you have any idea if you're eligible for Medicaid? No, or I tried a couple years ago, or I don't think so, or I don't know. I said, I'll take in 20 seconds. Are you single, married, widow, divorced? Okay. Is your gross income more or less than okay? And then your assets, you're eligible for Medicaid. And here in Florida, there's an expedited Medicaid referral process. We didn't get a chance to finish that conversation. I do it with Humana. I call Humana with the beneficiary on the line. They do a pre-qualification in about 3 minutes. Right after that, they will transfer us over to the Social Security Administration office. And that process takes maybe 15 minutes. They ask them a bunch of questions. While they're applying them for Medicaid, they're also applying for food stamps and a free government phone if they want it. 7 to 10 business days later, they get a package in the mail. They've got to sign 3 forms, include a copy of their Social Security awards letter. I always recommend include a copy of an ID. I would say 85% of the time, I'm going to check the Medicaid system, and people are approved before they even got the damn package in the mail. It's wild. And I change those people's lives. I've had people cry to me many, many times because they're going from paying $165 a month for Part B. They're getting no monthly money for food. You know, United Healthcare offers $255 a month on their HMO, or $205 in a PPO here in Florida in most counties. I mean, it's a complete game changer for them. So I would say, I don't have the exact number, but if I would estimate probably give or take 30% of my Medicare business, or I'll call it 25% of my clients are with Medicare and new to Medicare, Medicaid rather, because of me.
It's
So,
increasing.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's a game. So many people are eligible for it and don't even know it. So when you help them with that, if they were able to have kids, they would name your next born after you.
Now that you know how to sell final expense and Medicare over the phone, are you selling both to the same person now?
I am, but I'm not running any ads for final expense. I haven't done that since I think September. So I'm just cross-selling my Medicare clients to final expense. So I think I'm about 17% of my Medicare clients also I've written a final expense policy on. And it could be a lot more. I just usually don't have the time to ask. My schedule is usually booked from, I don't know, I probably have about 12 to 14 appointments a day if I want them. I usually don't work Sundays. I never work Sundays. Occasionally I'll put a couple hours in on Saturday, but I don't know. But this will be a year-round thing for me.
Are you incorporating any video?
Not yet. I mean, it's certainly been a thought, a good thought, and I know it goes a long way. Again, it was my first AEP, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal. You know, I'm getting leads under $2, more business than I can handle. Everybody's receptive. You know, these are just people that they just want to talk to somebody who's friendly, who doesn't have a funny accent, who's not calling from some third world country, who's going to educate them. Speaking of which, that is my, I'm big on that. And what I mean is, I don't care how much money you make or don't make. Let's just say, like, I can't fix a car. I don't know anything about automotive. That's not my thing. I don't care if I'm making $500,000 a year and Joe, the mechanic, is making $30,000 a year. That guy knows how to fix my car. I don't know how to fix it. I automatically have respect for that guy. I put him above me. I put him on a pedestal. And when it comes to doing simple things like, you know, even on some of the questions I have when somebody becomes a lead, it's do you have a Medicare Advantage plan or a supplement plan? So many people write supplement plan. They don't have a supplement plan. They don't know what the hell they've got. Nobody ever took the time to explain it to them. Part A, Part B, what? Prescription drug coverage, HMO, PPO. It's all a foreign language. You take the time to teach them, educate them, ask good questions, get answers, be sincere, be honest, be cool, take the time and hold their hands. They're yours. I mean, why wouldn't they make the move? If they're not in the best plan already and you're gonna move them to a plan, great. Otherwise, and I don't flip anybody that unless, no, I know I'm on TV here or whatever it is, but if there's not a better plan, I don't make the move. I'm not comfortable with that, and that's just me. But I've had so many people, well, I want you to be my agent, what can we do? And like John said earlier, you know, Humana, United Healthcare, it's two big carriers I work with, no agent or record change, but they still call me just for questions about this and that, and anyway. Questions?
What if they don't have an email? Well, you said you send them all your information in the first 10 minutes that you
Yeah,
send
okay.
through email. What if they don't? I mean,
I've never come across that, and I only say that because in order for them to become a lead, they couldn't without putting in an email address. Yeah.
I was wondering.
Do you target the low income? Because it is a great market, but with Facebook, are you creating that, or are you just stumbling across it and you know how to get them on it and you do?
Stumbling across it, really. Yeah, I don't do anything with income. I don't play around with that at all on Facebook. No. Yeah, and even ages, I do. I got this number from Dave actually. I think, what are our ages, Matt?
57.
Yeah, I advertise the ages 57 and up. So I don't wait for 65 because you're going to come across a lot of people already on Medicaid.
If you're only working pre-booked appointments, you probably have a ton of leads that aren't getting work. How do you retarget? Are you doing anything with that stuff?
Yeah, so my CRM is constantly, and I mean constantly, it sends texts, it sends emails, constantly. 20 minutes ago, I got somebody just message back. I think the lead is like a week old. They finally responded to one of the text messages, and they scheduled an appointment for 10 a.m. on Monday. So a CRM, I think that's an absolute must-have, especially this day and age. You know, it's another version of yourself working 24/7, 365. You know, when I'm at home sleeping or with my wife, kids, whatever it is I'm doing, my CRM is working. So they're constantly being touched. I'm constantly in front of them. They constantly know my name. And then even when they become clients, they get a happy birthday text and an email. They get New Year's, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day. The CRM will just do that automatic. I'm not sitting there setting any of this stuff. It's set up behind the scenes. Speaking of CRMs, I know there's a lot out there. And most CRMs are developed by a tech guy, and a tech guy doesn't think like a sales guy. So a tech guy is not going to use the same language that I would. So the CRM that I use, that Matt uses, we completely customize what we do, how we do it, the language that's used, when it's sent, how often it's sent, completely separate than what you would get. So I do use Lead to Client. I think it's a great CRM. I think it's like $50 a month or something like that, and then it's like $2 if you want an additional phone number. You might have a couple of small charges here and there for text messages that go over and above and beyond. I send a lot of text messages. Let me hit on that for a quick moment. I think I might have said this in a previous video, but so let's just say, right now, we're all sitting here. Your phone rings. Nobody's probably going to answer it. Who might? Not the jerky, but you more than likely people would ignore it. Maybe you're sitting home, maybe you're watching TV, maybe you're out with your wife, husband, kids, whatever. Your phone rings and you don't recognize the number, or you do. It's local. Well, no, you don't recognize the number. It's local, it's not local, whatever. Do you answer it, most people? I think you can easily ignore it, right? Like you just cannot answer and say to yourself, it's important to leave a message. Well, what about a text message? You can't ignore that. You pick up your phone, it's there. You can't just clear it. Nobody's gonna clear it. You're gonna read the text message, right? So I definitely use that to my advantage. I send a lot of text messages, a lot. And everybody texts. I don't care if it's Mary Smith, she's 87 years old, she's texting. Don't think that she's not, without a doubt. Question.
I got a question. Do you think Zoom would work? What's your thoughts on Zoom versus phone?
I don't throw it out there. I think I've done a Google Meet twice. It was a woman, a caregiver with her elderly clients, and they were just real skittish, so to speak, and I said, I'm just going to show you what I'm seeing here. We did a Google Meet once, but technology is great for me. Trying to get a senior on Zoom, I try to avoid possible issues, and I think that would probably be a big issue.
So are you working only in Florida or targeting other states? And how long is an appointment, and do you have any staff?
So again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of deal. I'm getting leads at a phenomenal price. I'm only doing Florida. Will I consider other states? For sure. But at this point, I don't really have to. What was the other question, I'm sorry?
Your staff and how long is the appointment usually?
Just me. Appointments, writing the policy, all said and done, it could be 45 minutes, but could be an hour. Yeah. By the time it's all said and done, including the HRA, the health risk assessment as well. Yeah.
Can you just talk about the process where you go from these 1,100 leads to like how they end up being an appointment? Can you just talk a little bit about what happens in that space between the lead coming in and then actually being an appointment on your calendar?
Sure. So as soon as they click on the ad on Facebook, they become a lead. They are immediately taken to another place, and it says just one more step. And then it says, schedule a one-on-one call with me here, something, something. I don't remember the exact language. And then they can schedule the appointment right from there. It takes them to a different page. It's my own personal page. Picture of me.
Or something like that. It goes to like a calendaring format. They can schedule an appointment.
Yeah, I don't use Calendly. With my CRM, it comes with it, but yes. Now, that's as soon as they become a lead, that's what happens. After that, however, if they don't schedule it there, they're immediately getting a text message and an email from me. And by the way, I think that message is, I could probably read it if I had my iPad. Hey, this is Anthony Boba. I received your request for information, the Medicare Savings Program. Just so you know, I'm a local agent. I'm not, what does it say? I'm not a call center calling from some third world country, and I don't know Joe Namath or JJ from Good Times. That is literally written in the text message that they get from me within the first 60 seconds of becoming a lead. See how you all laughed? What do you think they do? Same thing. So because they hear all this stuff, they see all this stuff, they don't know what they've got, they don't know what options they have. They think there's good options, flex card, grocery card, Part B give back. This is all foreign language. They're getting phone calls from people that funny accents in third world countries, and then here you come along. And you're gonna take the time to teach them, friendly voice. As long as they answer that phone, man, I don't know why it's not a sale. If you can beat the plan and they answer the phone, it's a sale. That's what I say.
Do you ever have people that just not schedule the appointment, just call the number and text them?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably get a few calls today too. Yeah.
Last call for questions. Anybody? Questions?
You may have mentioned this. What is your monthly spend on your Facebook ads?
I try to generate 200 leads a week. At $1, what did they say, 60 or something like that? Yeah, $1.61. I want 200 leads because I know I'll get at least 40 appointments. So that's what I'm shooting for. The other, 160 leads, I don't even call them, but they're so cheap.
Right.
I don't really care.
One sale's covering your cost.
For sure.
Yeah.
If they were 10, 15, like John, I don't even want to ask, man. I know the big number, but what does it cost for a mailer lead? Anybody want to throw a number out there? I don't know.
It's anywhere between $30 and $55.
Good.
And it depends on the time and your areas too.
Right.
Like
The
during
time of year and your area.
and during AP, I had one area that was like $50, $60 a lead. It was,
They can be up to 100 in some areas. For AEP.
Yeah.
Right here, I'm paying 45.
Would you say
You got $45 for final expense? Get with Shauna. I just met Shauna last night at dinner. I'm not trying to promote her. I don't make any money off of any of that. Facebook leads. Everybody's on Facebook. I'm not personally on Facebook. I hate Facebook. I'm on the endangered species list. But I only have it because I have to in order to generate my own leads. I don't ever go to it. I know she was talking about the personal page and organic. I don't do that. I pay for this. But I have control over the language. What it says and what I don't want it to say, and I don't want to talk to anybody that's thinking they're getting free stuff. When you buy leads, you're buying these leads, how often do you find that people are somebody already called me about that, or somebody was at my house yesterday, or they told me it's free. You get that a lot? I know I did.
Other people think it's for like housing assistance.
Oh.
It doesn't say anything.
Yeah, when you're a lead vendor, what's your job as a lead vendor? To sell leads, right? So in order to sell leads, you got to generate leads. Well, they know that you don't know exactly what that ad says, so they're going to lie through their teeth to generate as many leads as they can. As long as the name is correct and the phone number works, you're paying.
What percentage of new to Medicare for you when you're getting that double commission, that $600?
I'm sorry, ask me that again.
What percentage are new to Medicare and you're getting that double commission versus people already on?
I don't know that number, I'd be guessing, but a rough estimate, I would say, I'd say maybe 1 out of 15-ish,
It's
maybe?
it's about 10%.
Yeah, okay, probably something like that. Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here, but we're going to have Anthony back here in about an hour. We're going to do a Q&A panel with all the speakers who've spoke. So if you got more questions for Anthony, save them.